Testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
8, 9, 10. I'm going to be so sore from Pilates.
Oh my God. I didn't know I had certain muscles in my stomach that I learned about today.
We were doing moves in that class. I was like, this shouldn't be allowed. How is my body able to do this?
I was like, I won't say her name because we like her too much.
Yeah, we like her too much.
But I was like, my back hurts.
Oh.
And she was like, let's modify it.
She's like, don't worry.
And it took every bone in my type A overachieving gifted student program body to be like, okay, fine, I won't do the harder version.
I know.
You did the harder version.
I did the harder version, and I think I'm going to be regretting it.
Well, we'll let everybody know on Tuesday.
No. Yeah, we will.
And it's a weekend?
It's a weekend. It's a Friday.
We've never done this before. We're trying something new.
We're trying something new.
And it is a primer on everything you need to know to make watching the college football national championship as interesting as possible.
Correct. We're not talking about on-the-field records here.
No.
Number of touchdowns. Unless it relates to something that happened off the field.
Unless it's interesting.
Yeah, unless it's interesting.
Some juicy stuff. But I'm not going to be telling you what Notre Dame secondary has to do to win this game.
I don't even know what a secondary is.
Exactly.
So, and if you know what it is,
comes after
congrats.
the first dairy.
The first year.
What would that word be? Secondary?
The firstly?
Firstly.
You know when you would write an essay in school and you'd be trying to add more words to get the word count right?
Yes.
And you'd be like, first, comma. However, comma,
secondly,
secondly, in addition to.
I had a friend in college who decided he was like, in one class, he decided that every paper he wrote, he was going to put methinks as many times as he could.
Stop.
And in every paper, he started like every paragraph with like, methinks that the advent of technology, and the teacher never flagged it.
Stop. You know what's funny?
Really good.
That's really good. And it's good he didn't have to read it out loud because when I was studying abroad in college at Oxford.
Oh,
no, but it's related. I'm not trying to name drop a school. I went to the University of Georgia.
I know.
Okay? I'm a public school kid through and through.
I think it's
I have
cool
a little
that you went to. If I had gone to Oxford, I would say it way more often
I am
than
wearing
you do.
my Oxford volleyball sweatshirt when I play.
Get out of town. Is this your M Hill Nike?
Yeah, it's
Oxford volley.
Watch out.
I didn't even notice that.
It's merch. I feel
That's
very
sick.
cool. I feel like a D1 athlete.
I'm wearing my husband's varsity soccer hoodie. From high school.
But
so
it's sick too.
Thanks. I think we're doing an amazing job.
We're doing a great job. But no, one of the things you had to do at Oxford was read your paper out loud to your professor. Do you want to die?
I feel like I've only read about that in books. In books about, England.
It's so mortifying. And so thinking about that kid who would have to say methinks out loud.
Methinks.
It was traumatizing. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh my God. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's such a different way of talking.
No, yeah. And you're just reading your word gibberish that you're adding more words to get to the word count, but out loud.
Firstly and secondly, methinks.
Tertiarily. Secondary.
And quadrilaterally. Sorry, to quote Bill Belichick's girlfriend,
Quintinium?
Quinellium. A 5-year period.
Why am I thinking? Who's the NBA coach?
I can't even make fun of her because Quinn Snyder.
Quinn Snyder.
Brady Quinn. Notre Dame.
Quinn.
Speaking of.
So, anyways, this is a special bonus episode. Like Charlotte mentioned, all about the college football national championship that's happening on Monday. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we just wanted to do this. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, because when we watch these games, we jabber the whole time about this happened to this guy, this is this person's wife, blah, blah, blah. It's the personal life section of a Wikipedia while you're watching the game.
Right.
So we thought maybe if we gave that to you before the game, you can then be the jabberer at your national championship gathering.
Correct.
Nothing anyone loves more than someone who won't shut up during the game.
And if you like this, let us know and maybe we'll do some more. Interesting.
Exciting.
Well,
all right. Where should we
start
here, Madeline?
So I think let's start off at the basics.
Okay.
For anyone who doesn't know what the college football playoff is, can you give a little bit of a backstory on its history?
Yeah. So first, I just want to preface all of this by saying that college football, in my estimation, is designed to be as confusing as humanly possible, to make as little sense and to be as overcomplicated as it can be.
Right.
So if you don't understand something, it's not that you don't get it; it's that it probably doesn't make sense. That being said, there are some things that you can start to parse here. So basically, to find a national championship of a sport that has 134 teams, which NCAA Division I, it's called FBS, football has, how do you do that? Because they can't all play each other.
No.
And that's been like the central problem of college football for as long as it's existed. And they used to do it by AP poll. The writers would vote, and then there were bowl games. And then starting in 1998, they were like, we have these cool new things called computers.
Uh-oh.
What if we just had them decide which are the two best teams, and then they play each other?
Okay.
And that was 98 to 2013, and it was replaced by the college football playoff in 2014.
Yeah, which was a big deal.
You remember that. You were at Georgia.
Yeah, I was about to graduate. Yes.
And that's it. What was the reaction there?
I think people were a little surprised. And I think when you're used to a certain system, everyone's like, wait, how is this going to impact it? Will this make our chances better at advancing in these new playoffs, or are we going to fail miserably?
Right. Will be another 40 years.
Don't.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't.
It wasn't. No.
You got 2 natties.
We did. And
as they say in the biz.
I got to be honest about my Georgia Bulldogs. I feel like that's it for a while.
What do you define?
I don't know. Anyone who went to Georgia or who's a Georgia fan, if you're watching or listening, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. There's something in the air, just the vibes those 2 years. I was like, yeah, we're winning. It just felt energetically right. And when we lost to Notre Dame, I was like, I think we'll do well moving forward. We'll probably always be top 10 for a while, but like, I just don't see it. I hate saying it. I went to Georgia. You know how much I care about my Georgia Bulldogs, but I don't know. I'm not trying to be woo-woo, but
no. I wish
the vibes
vibes are not there. I wish that I could say to you, no, they're going to be great. But as an outsider, I also get that same sense.
You get the same sense.
Kirby's looking a little too red in the face. Kirby Smart, head coach, wears a visor. I would say the premier visor-wearing coach in all of college football.
I think that's true. In the same way that our man Bill Belichick wears the cutoff sweatshirts, that Kirby Smart is the cutoff sweatshirt Kirby of college football
of visors.
Of visors.
Yes. So what this meant when they went to the college football playoff, it was 4 games. It was a 4-team bracket.
Yeah.
And those 4 teams was decided the 4 best teams in college football by a committee. This committee, Madeline, it is a 13-member committee. I pulled up a picture of it recently. And I just want to show you.
No. Yeah. Okay, Charlotte just pulled up what
2024 College Football Playoff Selection Committee. So it's a lot of old white men with red faces, a couple people of color, 2 women, and
who are these
more
people?
Old white men. You know,
who are they? Are
Chet
they like
Gladchuk? Let's see.
Who is he?
Served as the director of athletics at the U.S. Naval Academy for 22 years. So
okay, so
these people are qualified.
Are they all people who come from college athletic backgrounds?
Normally, yes. However, Condoleezza Rice was on this committee. What did she do again? What was her title? She was the 19th U.S. National Security Advisor from 2001 to 2005. Okay. She worked with George W.
Okay. And she was on this committee?
And apparently she's like really knows her college football. I wonder what she's up to.
Well, trying to get back on this college football committee, apparently, because she's not on it anymore.
No, she isn't.
Okay, Mike, I have so many questions already. Number 1, how did they pick the committee to begin with, and who picked the committee?
Oh, I don't know.
Like just the...
Oh, that's like wizardry.
Because that to me is like, some fishy.
Oh, yeah. No, it goes all the way to the top. This is like you know, the man behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. Like, I'm sure there's a way to know, and I'm sure there are people I could ask to find out. But to me, it's like sorcery.
Yeah.
But and like puppet masters doing all sorts of stuff.
A second question related to this, because it's a committee who's picking these teams, right? Are the schools prevented from contacting the committee members? Do you know that?
I don't know that.
Because I'm like,
I would assume so.
Like,
I would assume you can't lobby.
I'm like, can they do a FYC campaign for your team? For your consideration, the University of Georgia, and they put together like a hype video for the school.
That's a fantastic idea.
I want to know like if there's some I'm sure there are some behind closed door handshaky meetings where they're like, we'll give you a year of free tickets and concession stand coupons to our team.
Okay, I think they can probably already get those. However, I like where you're going.
I'm just like, I don't know.
I'm sorry that I can't answer. Well, that's above my pay grade.
Well, like I said, I'm a sports gossip expert. I'm not a sports expert. So, I'm asking the tough questions.
Yes, asking the tough questions. Somebody will.
If anyone knows,
someone will write in. Someone will let us know.
Okay, so anyway, so there's this committee.
Yeah, and so this is the first year that they expanded to 12 teams.
And was the reason they expanded because, again, there are all these college football teams, and they're like, these other schools are like, hold up. Let me get in the mix. Yeah,
because other teams would go undefeated, or if they weren't in the SEC Southeastern Conference, which, as you know, your Georgia Bulldogs, is the king of college football. Or people are like, oh, if they're not in the SEC, they're not that good. And there's people would say there's an SEC bias, there's an Alabama bias, and
I mean,
there is.
The SEC they're like a mini NFL. Let's be real,
right? I mean, but I would like to point out
things are changing though.
The two teams playing in this college football playoff, national championship, Notre Dame, not in a conference,
which we'll get to,
and Ohio State, Big Ten.
See, that's crazy.
The first year that they expand to let in more teams and have more teams play each other to see who deserves to be here, there are no SEC teams. I will also say that college football, the landscape is changing very much, and Ohio State pays a lot of money in NIL and name, image, and likeness deals to its players to be there. So it used to be that like you would, if you were the best, you would go to Alabama.
Right.
And I mean, you would also go to Ohio State. They've won national championships, but there's a little more parity now.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's probably for the best, even though
so many people are going to come at me and be like, no, there's not. I'm going to get ripped apart for this.
Good.
Controversy.
Listen, I don't care.
As long as you're talking about us.
Yeah, great. Ooh. All press is good press.
All press is it? Anyway.
Wow. Okay. Well, it is interesting. I do appreciate, I will say, even though Georgia did not beat Notre Dame, I think it is good that we're seeing other schools have a chance to play for a title. However, I'm going to say something.
Oh, God.
I do feel like when teams that are not SEC teams, hear me out.
Oh my God,
make it to the national championship.
Don't come for me. She's whining. I see you like gearing up to say this.
Ohio State, I love you. Notre Dame, I love you. You guys seem great. Doesn't it kind of feel like when you're watching an NBA Finals and a B market team makes it to the finals, and Adam Silver is like, why isn't it the Lakers? Or, you know what I mean? Like, why isn't it the Knicks? Or like a main market, like when it's just like a random ass city. No shade to any other city's team. I love all NBA teams. However, it's like it kind of hurts the ratings. There's not as much start. It's not as much judge.
I hear what you're saying. However,
and SEC teams
I hear what you're saying. That is some serious SEC bias, because I think of all teams that are not in the SEC, the college football committee was dreaming that it would be Notre Dame, Ohio State. Like that
satisfies,
and they have such a Notre Dame is like such a national brand. So many people know, like Ohio.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Well, I know what you're saying because I know why you're saying it. And I think it's incredibly on brand. If you hadn't said that, here's what I'll say.
What?
If you hadn't said that as a Georgia fan, I'd be worried about you.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'd be like, are you really a Georgia fan?
I'm just saying. It feels like when you just like let's see what the ratings are.
Oh my God.
Let's see what the ratings are.
Okay.
Talk to me when we get those rating numbers.
Oh, now
and maybe they'll be good. Maybe I'll be surprised. I'm not saying they're like random ass schools. It's not like DeVry University playing. I mean, that would be incredible.
DeVry just got us straight.
I mean, that would be incredible.
Why did you bring DeVry into that? What did DeVry
I don't even know if DeVry still exists. I think it does. But I'm not saying they're not national profile schools. They obviously are and have huge legacies within college football and college athletics overall. But I'd be curious to see what the numbers are at the end of the day.
And maybe
because the numbers don't lie.
Hoping it would be Alabama and Georgia again,
or just Texas even. Like Texas' first year in the SEC, I feel like that kind of is like an interesting SEC play. Matthew McConaughey, Glenn Powell, come on.
The bias is just dripping off of you. Look, I see what you're saying.
People will back me up. People won't, but some people will back me up.
People will not, and they will. And it'll be... I think Notre Dame being in it in all seriousness,
Yeah.
is very cool because
Yes.
they're not in a conference.
Yes. Explain that.
So they're not in a conference because they don't have to be. Because Notre Dame has
That's
such
crazy.
a national fan base. They've had a TV deal with NBC since, I believe, the 90s. I also need to shout out my dear friend Jessica Smetana and Terrence Malangone, who are two of the biggest Notre Dame fans I've ever met.
Shout out.
And I ran a few questions by them before because nothing terrifies me more than saying, like, I think Notre Dame fans feel this way.
Yeah, right.
And having them be like, we absolutely do not.
You did your due diligence.
I need to thank them very much for helping me work through the sports part of this.
Right.
So they don't have to be in a conference because they have such a massive fan base, and they can. And what this means, though, is that they are, for other sports, they're in the ACC.
Okay.
And so the football team, I believe, plays 5 ACC games a year, but then they can schedule whoever they want. Like USC is a big rival; they can play Michigan,
Right.
and then like some random fun ones like Texas A&M from the SEC. So it's more of like, because they haven't had to join a conference because the money's there, and they just keep all the money they make from it. They haven't.
So they're kind of like an independent musical artist, a la Chapel Roan. I think she's still independent, just doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Booking venues, aka booking teams, like they're just calling Taylor up and saying we want to play you.
Yeah.
Is that just kind of they're not reliant on the ACC?
No.
Minus the couple schools they play in the ACC.
And they don't need their TV money because they have their own TV money.
Interesting.
You know what they are?
What?
Dare I say, we are the Notre Dame of podcasts.
Because we're doing this ourselves.
Like, if we wanted to have guests on, we'd have to schedule it.
We would have to call Taylor up.
But we could call anybody.
Yeah, we could call. We technically could try calling anybody. Would they answer?
Remains to be seen.
We'll see. Maybe
Anyway.
one day.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're independent, whereas Ohio State is in Big Ten. They just follow the schedule that they have to play. Like, I mean, I know there are people who work for the school that figure out the schedule. But
Yeah, I think there's, I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
I mean, who cares? Whatever. Who cares?
I know that it has more to do with the Big Ten than they have. They have like maybe 3 non-conference games all year.
Now, would people say like, oh, Notre Dame has an easier schedule because they get to pick who they're playing?
So that was often a knock against them. And a reason why, because they weren't in a conference, why they wouldn't be picked to be in that 4-team playoff. Like Condoleezza Rice was like, you cannot be
because you don't have a
in
hard
the college
schedule.
football playoff.
Right.
And Notre Dame fans would be like, well, that's not true. We do. And then people would be like, but you're not playing SEC teams all the time. And they'd be like, are you kidding me? Are we still doing this? So now I do think it's very interesting that they, on their own merit, get into this 12-team playoff.
Right.
Beat Georgia, an SEC team. They beat a great Penn State team.
Yeah.
They beat, who did they beat before Georgia?
I don't know.
Indiana.
Don't ask me. Why would I know that?
You're looking at me like I have 3 heads.
I'm like,
You're like,
I know who's married to who and who got a bad SpawnCon deal, but like, don't ask me who Notre Dame played in week 7.
Sorry. It's a compliment. I think
know.
so highly of your sports knowledge.
Oh my God, thanks.
It's
I
true.
speak so highly of your sports gossip knowledge.
I think we're doing amazing.
We're doing such a good job.
So anyway, Notre Dame made it to the national championship.
Okay.
And it's because of one guy. You know who it is.
Oh, I know who it is.
Tell the people who it is.
Marcus Freeman.
Head coach Marcus Freeman.
Head coach, which we've already talked about him extensively for his snatch jawline. He's objectively a very attractive human being. Everyone's attractive, but he's gonna be at the Met Gala. Don't you think he's gonna book some fashion? I think he's gonna book some fashion jobs because we were talking about this when we were doing prep for this. Sam Hartman, their former quarterback, who is has the most insane head of hair I've ever seen. Very attractive quarterback.
He's handsome in a way that it looks like he was generated by AI.
Yeah, he does look like an AI.
He really does. It looks like the computer was like, how can I make the most beautiful man?
Yes.
And then gave you Sam Hartman. Like,
yes.
Marcus Freeman is very handsome in a way that you're like, you are still a person. Sam Hartman, you're like,
it's AI.
I don't know.
It's like, guys, I got to say something. Little PSA. Posted this on my Instagram story a couple days ago. Saw a bunch of people sharing this video that was very obviously AI. And I was like, guys, media literacy, we've talked about this before. just check things one more time before you post them because it may not be real. I just need to say that.
Thank you.
But anyways, Sam Hartman AI. He did a Ralph Lauren campaign. This was, I don't know, not that long ago.
Did he really?
Yes. And I'm like, okay, if Sam's booking these jobs, let's get Marcus Freeman, same agent. If he has a model, I don't know if Sam Hartman has a modeling agent, whatever.
I wonder if Marcus Freeman would do it. He might be like, this is too distracting for my team. He's a big we guy.
But he did do a huge GQ profile. And he's like posing in it.
Okay.
So I'm like, he likes
there's a chance.
I'm just like, come on. How good would it be? Let's see him at the Met Gala. He could wear like...
he would wear a gold suit.
Who do you think would dress him?
Gold Notre Dame. Probably Ralph Lauren.
Oh, that'd be good.
I really do think.
I could see it. If they brought Sam Hartman and Marcus Freeman
to the Met Gala. Could you die?
Combust. Yeah. So Notre Dame's head coach is Marcus Freeman. He has 6 children with a lovely wife. They met at Ohio State. If you didn't hear us talk about that last week, he seems like an all-around great guy.
And they're playing Ohio State.
Their alma mater.
And he's been amazing for the program. We talked about that too. Amazing leader, really inspires his team. Also, a lot of the team was hurt. And so they had to call up freshmen and sophomores, and fans were like, oh God, is this going to be a bad season? Especially they lost to a school that they had paid to play them. Yeah. Northern Illinois, I believe. Ooh. And in week 2, and everyone was like, oh God. And they are now in and the players were like, we use that as fuel but they're playing Ohio State, Marcus Freeman's alma mater, and he has lost twice to Ohio State now. And the last time they played last year, they lost on the last play because there were only 10 men on the field. Heartbreak.
That's terrible.
Heartbreak.
It's terrible to lose on like an admin issue. You know, it's like the spelling error of football. Like just 10 guys on. It's like, oh no.
Or like in a reality show when on Top Chef when they just they don't get the protein onto the plate.
Yes.
And or like in Jeopardy where it's like one letter off from the final Jeopardy answer.
Yes.
That's what that was.
It was. That's terrible. Well, maybe third time will be the charm for Marcus Freeman because I mean, I'm rooting for them, obviously. I've said this before. They beat Georgia, so I feel like you got to root for them all the way.
Exactly.
So I'm rooting for them.
They haven't won a major bowl game since 1994, and then they've won 2 bowl games in a week. It's just an exciting time. And Ohio State is like storied program.
Yeah.
And I've talked about how it's very scary there. And they have the Coliseum.
Yes.
No, it's not the Coliseum, but it looks like the Coliseum. I think of it in my head as like Rome. But
I mean,
not
the Rome of Ohio.
On when Rome was like on the downfall, maybe where it's just like a little scary.
Yeah.
The town. This is fun. So Ryan Day, the head coach of Ohio State, and his offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly, if you know sports, you know that he's coached in the NFL. He coached the Eagles. He coached the 49ers. He coached UCLA in college. This guy's been coaching since 1990.
Okay.
At the University of New Hampshire. Because Ryan Day and Chip Kelly are both from Manchester, New Hampshire, which is the biggest city in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And only 10,000 people bigger than the capacity of Ohio State Stadium.
That feels like an ACT question. I'm like, my brain, just went to, I know what you're saying.
That wasn't, I didn't say very interesting. Okay. The size of the stadium is the size of the city they grew up in.
I hate math. Anyways, continue. Yeah.
Same. That's why I didn't say numbers. Anyway, Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator at the University of New Hampshire when Ryan Day was the quarterback.
Oh, interesting.
That's the interesting part.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay.
And Ryan Day so the whole thing with Ohio State is they really hate Michigan.
Yeah, right.
They don't say Michigan.
Yeah.
They say that team up north. Ooh. Ryan Day is a 1-3 record against Michigan. So a lot of Ohio State fans are really mad at him. And apparently he had to pull his kids out of school because not only students, but teachers were saying things to them about their dad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Isn't that awful?
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. No, I don't like that.
That's where it's like, okay,
that's
folks,
too much.
That talk about losing the plot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, sometimes I lose the plot with the SEC. I must admit. But that's too far.
There's a little self-awareness from me.
Yeah, of course. That's too far. Wow, that's terrible. Well, thank you for sharing that. Can you walk me through, just while we're on the topic of Ohio State, some of the key players on the team and like what their deal is?
Yes. So Will Howard is the quarterback, and he said something about how everybody's doubted him. He's been a great quarterback, but there's some narrative around him that he's not. I think because they have had such great wide receivers at Ohio State, and they have this guy, Jeremiah Smith, and that was a whole drama in the offseason because he was going to go to Ohio State, and then he was going to go to Miami, and at his signing day at Ohio State, Ryan Day, like, pretended to do like a sigh of relief. He was like, that he signed.
Oh, that's dramatic.
Isn't it good?
That is some Bravo theatrics if I've ever seen it. That I feel like Ohio State fans, I mean, they're just like brutal. That's terrible. The poor kids.
Ohio State, though, has had more recent success than Notre Dame. They won the national championship in 2014. Yeah. Notre Dame hasn't won since 1988.
That's a long time ago.
So this is a big deal. And I think fans are probably freaking out.
Yeah, I think they're very much freaking out.
I also feel like you and I have become the biggest Notre Dame fans over the past 2 weeks.
I know. People are like, are they getting paid by Notre Dame?
Like, no, we're not.
I wish.
Come on.
Could you imagine if a school paid us to just like say positive things about them on the podcast?
Be like, talk about our former quarterback.
And we're like, done.
We're like, on it. Weird request, but we'll
do it. Yeah, we are becoming Notre Dame fans, which I'm fine with.
I've been Notre Dame adjacent for a while.
Yeah.
Like Jess.
Yeah, friends.
Terrence, also the Golick family. Shout out to the Golick family. Lovely people.
Big Notre Dame fans.
Just some like good people from Notre Dame.
I love it. Great.
Great
job.
Most opposing fan bases would not say that. They would say that Notre Dame's really obnoxious. I would say Marcus Freeman has made the whole Notre Dame vibe much more pleasant.
He just seems like a nice guy. He's leading the charge with like a nice group of guys.
Ooh. Can I tell you something real quick that's funny about Notre Dame? So Brian Kelly was the coach there from 2010 to 20-something. I really did write this down, I swear. But anyway, whatever. When he left, he went to go to LSU.
Yeah.
And he said that he was leaving because he wanted to coach somewhere where he had the resources to win a national championship.
He wanted that SEC swag.
Yes. And he has not made the playoffs, and now Notre Dame is in... Mm-hmm. And look, the part of it is that Notre Dame has figured out NIL money. They figured out how to get players. So, that was a whole changing landscape. It wasn't that way when he was there. But my favorite thing about the whole Brian Kelly experience, and I think some Notre Dame fans are still salty about the breakup.
Yeah.
Jess told me that. She was like, some people are still like, like we won the breakup.
Right.
She was like, also, who cares?
Sure.
You're in the national championship. Whatever. But he faked a Southern accent. Do you remember that?
I do remember this. Yes. It was like he was doing an audition for Landman.
Oh my God.
Before Jerry Jones.
Oh my God. Was Brian Kelly trying to be on Landman?
Oh my God.
When he was announced as LSU's head coach?
Maybe so. Or like a prequel.
At that point, it would have been Yellowstone.
You're right. What
year
was
this? He would have been like
this?
Taylor Sheridan.
Like 2000. Wasn't this not that long ago?
No, it wasn't.
Because I don't know. I feel like that accent was so crazy. I remember seeing those clips.
Since 2022.
Okay.
It was recent.
Yellowstone was out. Landman definitely was announced. They were definitely at least in pre-production in 2022.
Wait, hear me out, Madeline. What if Brian Kelly was auditioning for the role of the coach who comes in and talks to a dying John Hamm? And then Jerry Jones, at the last minute, didn't even have to audition. Taylor Sheridan was like, Jerry, will you do it? And he was like, yes. And Brian Kelly was just crushed because he was about to be in Landman.
I see it. Wow.
And that's called synergy.
Wow.
Anyway, the Brian Kelly storyline is funny.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject of Notre Dame, can we dig into some of the key players and what their vibes are?
Yes. Let's start with Riley Leonard.
Okay.
The quarterback.
Riley Leonard, quarterback. Let me say what I know about him. Because, like I said, don't know what a secondary is.
Doesn't matter.
Or what his QB completion rating is.
Fine.
I don't know. He throws in, they catch it, and if they don't, put me on ESPN. Can I say that? On ESPN.
They're like, Madeline, your analysis, and you're like, the letters men would write.
I wouldn't even make it past a pilot episode of that show.
Yeah, they'd be like, cut. It would be live TV, and they'd be like, cut. Get her off.
Pull her on the air.
A cane would come in and like hook
my
you
chair
up.
back, my rolly chair. Anyways,
okay.
Riley Leonard, I know him from his Instagram presence.
I have not seen his Instagram.
So his Instagram, if you're listening, pull it up real quick. By the way, People keep asking us to put graphics in the YouTube video. I understand. I also would like to know how to put graphics in these YouTube videos. But again, we're doing this ourselves and don't have budget yet to pay an editor besides me to edit these episodes. So if you want to give us some money, we can insert graphics.
Yeah, we'll put graphics in. But in the meantime, when we say Riley Leonard's Instagram, just pull it up on your phone.
I'm sorry, guys.
Or pull it up on your computer if you're watching on your phone.
Yeah.
Or if you're listening in your headphones, imagine what you think he looks like.
I'll describe it as best as I can. So he, looking at it at first glance, he has a pretty standard Instagram presence. He has 87,000 followers, which I would argue is pretty low.
Oh my! I would expect that to be a lot higher.
That's pretty low, I would say. For a star quarterback?
Maybe. Okay, let's check after the national championship.
Yes, okay.
Especially if
he'll
win.
Definitely have
more.
So
what is it, 87 right now?
I bet you he'll leave national championship with, I'd say 175, 215.
Wow, really?
That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah, especially if they win. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Anyway, so his Instagram presence is very funny because, like most of these top college football players, they have NIL deals with various brands.
Yes.
So his brands are an interesting little batch, but I think that they track for him and they work.
Yes.
I would describe him, he has not blue chip level, which you know what that phrase is in like the fashion world. Blue chip campaign would be like if you booked Prada or Vogue.
Wait, I'm pretty sure that's a term that also applies
in college football? In football?
Blue chip recruiting.
Oh my God.
Wait, yes, it is.
Stop.
A blue chip recruit is a high-performing athlete who is targeted by college or professional teams.
Wow.
And I was like, how do you know
I know
that?
it from fashion. When I used to be a model.
This is...
Because it'd be like, oh, this is a blue chip campaign. It's like you're booking Chanel or something like that. That would be a blue chip campaign.
Did you see Gracie Abrams for Chanel?
Yeah. But she's been wearing Chanel for a while.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I'll say about Chanel. Those contracts, man. Kristen Stewart was in that Chanel contract for too long.
And
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, I know. I know too much about these things. Anyways, I would say he has like almost blue chip level partnerships. One of them being with Great Clips.
Really?
Yes, which I've seen other athletes do Great Clips. They just are not coming to mind. Great Clips.
Sam Hartman.
Oh my God, did he do it?
Did he do it?
I don't know.
Whatever. We'll look.
New Era. Isn't it like a cap brand? Like a
New Era. They make baseball hats.
But I think the most interesting campaign he did, and the most Gen Z, I would argue, is for Stanley.
That's
like the Stanley Cups. Not NHL, but like what you want for Christmas if you're Gen Z.
Like
the water bottles.
Where people, I watch a lot of videos on Instagram, unfortunately, where people put backpacks on their Stanleys.
Stop.
And they put all of these tiny little things in them. They're like a tiny lip gloss, tiny hand sanitizer. Once you see one, because you're like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, but you can't look away.
I feel like those were things on TikTok, and now no more TikTok.
I know.
R.I.P. All right, we're really bummed about it. By the way,
if you found us
from TikTok,
I don't know.
We're sorry that we're glad you found us, but just go follow us on Instagram at Sports Gossip Show or YouTube at Sports Gossip Show.
Thank you.
Anyway, so we did a Stanley bread, and the video, it looks like a sporting goods ad.
Yeah,
it's like he's warming up on the field with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Another player,
great running back,
and they're just drinking these Stanleys and just throwing the football.
Wait, so is Jeremiah Love also? Are they both tagged?
I think that yes.
That's awesome.
So I think that they both had the Stanley brand.
That's awesome.
Which I would say that's a pretty good deal. I would say
that is blue chip.
That's blue chip.
That's blue chip college football.
Those are blue chip brands, and I have more blue chip that I'm going to get to in a second for a different player, and then some not so blue chip, which we'll talk about. But the last thing I wanted to say about Riley Leonard before you explain who he is actually. I'm like explaining.
No. This is the important stuff.
He has a girlfriend named Molly.
Okay.
They've been dating for 7 years, and I believe they met in high school because 7 years ago
he would have been in high school.
So I think they're high school sweethearts. And she goes to Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I believe he's from Alabama.
Oh,
Riley Leonard.
Okay,
so that would make sense.
That makes sense.
He also didn't break his leg. He hurt his ankle. But it was against Notre Dame when Duke played Notre Dame because Riley Leonard was a quarterback at Duke, transferred to Notre Dame.
Whoa.
Isn't that fun?
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And he also, he said Jesus bless a lot after the last game. So what I know about him mostly is that, he seems like a golden retriever.
He does seem like a golden retriever.
Seems like a happy guy.
He's got a big old smile.
Loves Jesus. Loves football.
Loves his girlfriend. Loves Stanley Cups.
What more could you want?
He's just like us. I have a Stanley Cup. I have 2, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I have 2.
I'm a Yeti girl.
Well, I have 2, and I have also gotten an Owala for Christmas. Like a Gen Z.
Is that the thing you bring to Pilates?
Yeah, it's over here. Yeah.
Oh,
I really
cool.
well, here's what I'll say about Stanley. I love my Stanleys because I like it's just a big jug, but it kind of leaks. Whereas the Owala has a straw feature and a sip feature, and it doesn't leak.
Awesome.
Owala, you're doing something right.
I'll look into it.
And they make great colors.
Okay.
I'm literally a Gen Z.
So that's Riley Leonard. Jeremiah Love, you mentioned, he's a running back. He hurt his knee and he promised not to hurdle in the game against Penn State, but then he did anyway, and it was kind of metal. You know, it was like kind of really. I was like,
did he get injured again?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a sick play, and you were like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, a little risky. Sometimes you have to take risks in life.
Jordan Faison, who's a wide receiver for Notre Dame, he also plays lacrosse at Notre Dame, and last season won a national championship, and now he's playing in a national championship for football.
He plays 2 sports?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh my God, I didn't even know they were allowed to. I feel like that's actually surprising. I feel like if you play football at a school like Notre Dame, they do not let you do other sports.
I think because he came from the lacrosse team to the football team. It was like, and they showed a video of the lacrosse team at practice watching them win against Penn State. It was cute.
That's cute.
It was
okay.
Cute.
I like that.
Another person that I'd like to mention is Mitch Jeter, who is the kicker.
Yeah.
And he hurt his groin.
Okay.
Earlier this season.
Okay.
He's now apparently fine. His dad's a chiropractor or something, and they keep saying that his dad helped him fix his groin. I don't know. Sean McDonough in the booth for ESPN in the Indiana game, after Mitch Jeter makes a kick, he said, "Thanks for the healthy groin, Dad." And it's one of the funniest things I've ever heard anyone say. I heard it. I couldn't believe that I heard it.
I don't like that. That gives me the ick. I don't like that. I believe his dad.
Should I say it again?
Please don't say it again. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
I'll surprise you with it when you're least expecting it.
I actually didn't find, when I was doing research for this, Mitch Jeter has a pretty normal Instagram. There's nothing special going on. I was really hoping for some good weird SpawnCon because as kickers, I feel like you're not getting the blue chip SpawnCon, but he just kind of has like a normal Instagram, like a college football player.
Car washes.
No, I don't really see anything interesting.
This NBA player, Grady Dick, before he went to the NBA, was doing unbelievable car wash ads.
I love that. That's great. You know what? Good for him.
I just loved it. I loved it so much. If I
get that paycheck
for a car wash, I love car washes.
Yeah.
The colors come on your windshield, and then you feel like you're in a hurricane, but you're safe.
But you know what I don't love is a car dealership. But a lot of players do car dealership. SpawnCon.
Yeah. No, I had
no
a
one
panic
likes going
attack.
to a car dealership.
We got a car, and I had a panic attack at the car dealership.
Oh, it's horrible. I will say, I really negotiated one time when I had a car when we lived in LA. I had an old Prius that I got rid of and got an upgrade. I got an SUV.
Whoa.
And I had gotten it during COVID. And so at the time, this was before there was remember there was like a chip shortage?
Yeah.
Not a blue chip shortage, just a chip shortage. And so they were like, no cars. So there were still cars. Yeah, they were like trying to sell cars and I really needed a new car. And so I found I'm a Costco member, proud Costco member. In Costco.
So jealous.
I was able to get a deal through Costco and then get the dealership deal on top of it.
Wait.
They like, they'll give you a discount.
You got a discount on a car from Costco?
Oh, do you?
Are you kidding me?
I'm not sponsored by Costco. I wish I was. Costco, number one, is the best for rental cars. Hot tip.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I just booked one. I'm going to a wedding in a couple weeks.
Wait.
I just booked a rental car through Costco. Oh, it's the best. They give you the best deals, cheapest rental cars. Elite.
I have literally never heard this.
I'm a proud Costco member. Oh, yes.
I mean, I love
Costco. Car deals.
Living in New York, I haven't been a member. I used to go with my cousin.
I'm still a member,
when he lived
and
here.
I live in New York, and I'm still.
Do you go to the one in Industry City?
I get it delivered if I need stuff.
You can get it delivered.
Yes.
I feel like I'm from the 1800s right now.
You can literally online shop at Costco, even if they just have. You can buy skincare, like La Mer products in bulk from Costco online.
What?
And it'll come in the mail.
What?
Yes. Oh my God, I'm opening your eyes to a new world.
I just knew that. I thought you had to be a member and go there and show them
you might have to be a member to purchase the stuff online.
Look, I will
it's
join.
$50 a year.
I think it's the only major corporation that isn't.
I love Costco.
It's. I read the Times article. They seem like nice people.
I love Costco. So anyways, but Costco has this thing where I'm really going off the rails here. I apologize. But they have this thing where you can get cars, like they'll have like Volvo, Toyota, whatever. And it'll be like, oh, you can get $1,000 off a new car, $2,000, low interest rate if you need a loan, whatever.
Sure.
So they have good deals. So I go to walk my butt over to the dealership, obviously brought my then boyfriend, now husband at the time, because I was like, I'm not doing this myself. So go over there and they're like, oh, we can't combine the offers. Like, and I read, of course, all the fine print on the Costco offer. And it said, you can combine with any dealer offer that they give, because I'm a type A gal and I read the fine print. So I read the fine print, and they're like,
sorry. I'm like, what is happening?
So this is what is it? Okay, let me just finish this pointless story.
No, please, I'm locked in.
I don't want to cut it. Now I'm
too
deep in.
You're too deep in.
So anyways, they're like, we can't do it. But then, of course, I'm like, you can. And I really just like, I don't know if I just like bucked at him energetically, but I was like, I'm not leaving until you do this. And then they're like, we can't do it. And I go, fine. And by the way, you know, car dealerships, they make you stay there for hours because they're like, we want you to like be exhausted and just agree to what we say. Am I laughing? And so it was like hour 3 and I'm at this dealership. I'm at this dealership, you know, it's like during COVID. It's like dark time for everyone. And so I'm like, I just turn to the guy and I say, we'll leave. I said, I'll go to Hyundai. I don't care. I don't care what type of car I have. Would I like a nice SUV? Yes. But if I'm not going to get it, it's fine. Walk out the door. 5 seconds later, they called. They're like, we'll do it. So I got the Costco deal plus the dealership deal, and it was a deal of the century. And I wish I still had that car because it was a great deal.
I'm speechless. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. It was a sport. My point of saying all of this is that I hate car dealerships, but man, athletes really hawk a car dealership when it's like, I don't want to go to one. Pick athletes. Come on. Let's get you some new basic SpawnCon. That is like the starter pack SpawnCon for athletes.
Hear me out though. When we went to get a car, I had to sit there forever. And it was like one of the first nice days in March. And being from New England, if it's nice out, I have to be outside. Yeah. And if I'm not outside, I have a panic attack.
Yeah, right.
And I'm in it, and they're playing loud music, and it smells like cologne, and I'm in this car, and it's nice out, and I started having a panic attack, and I don't know why I just started saying that. What were we talking about? Oh, if an athlete had endorsed this car dealership,
yeah,
at least I would have had a cutout to be like, welp, there's Jeremiah Love.
Yeah. Right.
And it would have felt a little bit cooler.
Right. At least it would have made the experience like 1/10 better.
Can you tell me about Ohio State quarterback Will Howard? We have to move this.
Yes, I can.
Train.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thanks.
I'm sorry everyone for that rant, but I'm not paid by Costco. I wish I was.
Look, if there's any company that I could be sponsored by in the entire world,
I would love
Costco.
Costco,
come on the podcast.
Come on the pod. No, but so their quarterback, Will Howard, he has a different type of SpawnCon vibe.
What is it?
He has a lot of SpawnCon deals, but they're a little all over the place. One of them is for a brand called, I think it's Mizzen and Main.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know this brand.
I don't know why I know it.
Well, it's like a dad brand. It's like a chino company, it seems like.
Maybe
it's like kind of like Banana Republic adjacent.
I have no idea why I know it. There's no reason I would know it. But anyway. Okay.
Anyways, he seems too young to be doing this SpawnCon because if you look at this SpawnCon, like it's very professional. Like I'm really trying to pull this up right now, but again, of course,
yeah, but
I can't find it.
I think this is Will Howard's vibe though.
Yes.
If you look at his face, he looks like he's waiting to be a dad who's really proud of the bar in his basement.
Correct.
That he built himself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I think Mizzen and Main, he gives off 45-year-old dad energy, and I mean that as a compliment.
Right. You
know?
Yes. This was like about a month ago. He was in this ad, and I don't know why I can't see it on his Instagram, but it is on their Facebook here. I'm just pulling it up for Charlotte. And again, if you're watching this, I can't insert the graphic. Here we go. He's like, hi, I play quarterback at Ohio State. It's a video of him sitting in a chair, but he's wearing like a button down. Looks like kind of
dry fit
and button downs with the Ohio State logo on it.
Yeah, no, he looks like a booster. He looks like he's a booster of the team that he plays for, but he's the quarterback.
He does look like a booster. And then the other SpawnCon he was in Hollister SpawnCon.
Okay.
Which I would say is actually like kind of cool. But it's funny because the video, one of his most recent ones, if you go on his Instagram, he's just trying on different Hollister outfits in his closet with carpet, which if you know, it just looks like a college apartment.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Like you just know it's a college apartment.
They have
I've lived in
Ohio
one,
State
but
gear in Hollister?
Apparently they do. They have it at Target. They probably also have it at Costco.
Do you think they have Notre Dame gear?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. But he's just posing in his closet. My theory on this video, if you look at some of the other SpawnCon around the same time, I think it was all filmed on the same day. He had a little content shoot.
Oh, nice.
Because he's in another ad that I just almost yelped at. It is an Armani beauty ad for Macy's. And it is clearly shot also in his apartment, and it's for their Acqua di Gio cologne. And he is in his bathroom, just like running his hands through his hair, getting ready for the day, spritzing this cologne on him, which I would say is kind of a blue chip brand, but it's executed not like a blue chip campaign. It's because it's for Macy's.
It's also the fragrance. There's a lot going on. Will Howard in this video, to me, looks like someone out of Central Casting who was like the backup to play the quarterback on Friday Night Lights.
Yes.
Like he wasn't on the show, but he was in the mix. Maybe he was like the third string backup to play a quarterback on an American high school heartland television show.
I totally could see that. I could see that. And his SpawnCon kind of tracks with that vibe.
Yeah.
The last one I want to bring up is he did SpawnCon for a brand called Hey Dudes. Do you know these shoes, Charlotte?
Oh, God. Isn't that what Arnold said? Hey Dude?
Oh, yeah.
Or was that a TV show? Not Hey Arnold. It was Hey Dude.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyways, there are these shoes. They have the Ohio State logo on them, and I don't feel like he wears them.
You know what these are?
What?
These are boat shoes. If boat shoes were guys who went to games and suited up just in case, like wore the full uniform just in case they have to go into the game. But boat shoes. These are wild looking shoes. And you know what? Good for him.
Good for him. I mean, he's getting that paycheck. So who am I to judge?
Hey, dude, I would wear a pair of those. Because
I mean, they're a good wide footbed.
Look, if someone sent me a Notre Dame pair of those at this point, I'd be like, well, now we're committed.
We'll wear them on the pod.
Hey, dude.
So, yeah, he's got a kind of funny range of SpawnCon and just related to his dating life, if anyone cares to know.
Does he have a girlfriend?
Yes, he has a girlfriend named Lauren, I believe, and they've been together, I think, only a year. So
wow.
Newer girlfriend. She has a private Instagram, so
I feel like usually these quarterbacks are married. You know, like Riley Leonard's been with his girlfriend for 7 years.
Like going to be married. Well, yeah. I mean, a year is a pretty quick amount of time for college, I guess. But whatever.
Also, it's not because like if you're having a real relationship in college, more power to you.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my Will Howard update. Is there anything to say about him as a quarterback?
He's a good quarterback.
Okay,
he's a good quarterback. And I think that Ohio State recently has been just turning out wide receivers. So I think the wide receivers often get more of the credit, like Jeremiah Smith, not to be confused with Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love. Right. And so I think Will Howard, he said something about having a chip on his shoulder and being like, keep saying I'm not good enough. Right. Keep saying I'm not the guy.
Right.
Because he was like, it makes me better. I use it.
Yeah,
and
right.
You know what? Great.
Yeah. It's interesting, both these schools. The quarterback, so Will Howard only has 109,000 followers, and the other one, Riley Leonard, 87. Those are pretty low, but it's interesting that they don't feel like brand-wise, like that they're kind of the star of the team. Whereas if you look at Jeremiah Smith, I believe he has over 300,000 followers on Instagram, and he's a wide receiver, right?
Yeah, and I think that that's actually kind of encapsulates the vibe.
399,000 followers. That's a lot. And he is like, he's a brand.
Yes.
He has a brand. These other guys, the quarterbacks, no brand.
He was a brand before he was at college. Right. And that's why there was a bidding war over him, essentially.
His SpawnCon, I would say, of all of them, to your point that he was basically a brand before even playing college football, he has elite SpawnCon. As of literally 2 days ago, he did SpawnCon for Nintendo.
Wow.
Cute. Yes. Nintendo. He's done American Eagle. I would say that's like I guess that's comparable with Hollister. But Lululemon. Yes. I'm like, okay. He's
insanely good. He is an insanely good football player.
Yes. And if you just like look at his content strategy, like he has a social media team or something, because he has like actual content on his page besides just SpawnCon and photos from the game that like the photographer sends to the players.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that checks, though, because Ohio State, I believe, spent over $20 million in NIL. I think I said that already.
Just for him?
No, for their whole team. So
wow.
This is a school that, and I think Notre Dame's probably paying a lot too.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Last thing we have to mention is someone we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the clip online, a lot of men got mad at us because it was Urban Meyer, former coach of Ohio State.
Yes.
Sitting in a grocery store, at a bar in a grocery store.
Seemingly drinking a beer. We don't know. He could have been drinking coffee.
But he was seemingly alone on Black Friday.
Yes.
A lot of people commented and said, he took a picture with my daughter, or he wasn't alone, or blah, 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 or can't you leave men alone, or women never understand why men need some peace and quiet. Like, you know what? It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing.
It was a funny thing.
That Urban Meyer was at a bar in a grocery store on Good Friday.
Yes.
Black
It was
Friday.
funny. It was an objectively funny
Notre Dame
fact.
and me just came out. Good Friday.
Anyways. What were you going to say?
That's it.
Oh, he's Urban Meyer, former head coach of Ohio State. Has a lot of controversies around him. We don't need to spend much time Googling it. But he's an interesting player, I think, in all of this because he coached at Ohio State. Then he went to Florida, right? And then didn't he go back to Ohio State?
And it didn't go well.
And it didn't go well. So I wonder what he's thinking right now. Like, if Ohio State wins and Urban Meyer's not the head coach, like, is he going to be like beating himself up? Like, that could have been me while he's sitting in the grocery store bar watching the game.
He'll probably
be at the game.
So much money that he's
he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He certainly doesn't care what we think.
He certainly doesn't care what you and I have to say about him. But if he did, that would also be very funny.
That would be very funny.
This was an amazing off the rails.
Yeah.
I hope everybody learned something.
Something. Just one thing would be good.
It's a fun way to talk about sports,
it's fun.
everybody.
It's fun. And as always, please like, subscribe, rate, review, especially on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, subscribing on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, it really does make a difference.
Yes, it helps very much.
Yep.
You could turn the notifications on.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to do that.
I think so.
I've been told that there's
allegedly
the bell button. Isn't that what they say?
Probably. That makes sense.
You'll figure it out.
I should know that. I should know that since I upload the videos,
well,
but I don't.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, well. And thank you for getting us to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really exciting because now we can do live watch-alongs, which we're thinking about doing something soon.
Yeah,
which we'll see.
We'll figure it out.
But anyway, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
And in the meantime, we'll be watching the national championship. And if you have any questions or anything about this, you can text us.
Yep.
Or call us.
Yep.
At
a number we will one day
remember.
Number
Someday I'll memorize 7127-GOSSIP. Also known as 712-746-7747.
Yep. We've gotten so many incredible messages. It's actually wild how many people have been texting and leaving us great voicemails. And also, if you don't want to do that, that's also fine. And you still want to talk to us, you can follow us on Instagram and obviously on YouTube here at Sports Gossip Show, or email us, info@sportsgossipshow.com.
And we'll do a mailbag at some point and read the funniest ones.
We got some good ones.
All right.
All right.
Bye. Go Notre Dame.
Go Notre Dame.